Imagine you and your family fall asleep tonight, and when you wake up, you have been graced with an aristocratic inheritance to become dukes and duchesses. What type of palatial estate do you wish you could spend your Sunday mornings puttering around in? Perhaps you'd enjoy meandering through the opulent corridors of Eaton Hall or ambling amidst the ornate gardens of Blenheim Palace. Well, if your name was William Cavendish, heir to the Dukedom of Devonshire and member of the legendary Cavendish dynasty, you and your family would awaken to the sprawling expanse of Bolton Abbey. This historical estate, nestled in the Yorkshire Dales, encompasses over 30,000 acres of lush countryside, with the home itself featuring an impressive array of rooms rich in architectural heritage and steeped in centuries of history. Furthermore, in your I woke as a Cavendish heir timeline, you'd stand to inherit nearly £1 billion Great British pounds in assets, along with your dukedom. In today's episode, we'll feature the life and times of one such aristocratic heir, William Cavendish, the Earl of Burlington, as we describe the £1 billion heir to the Cavendish dynasty. William Cavendish, currently sporting the elegant title of Earl of Burlington and affectionately known as Bill Burlington on the day-to-day, is a walking chapter of English history, decked out in aristocratic splendour that stretches back over half a millennium. And the Cavendish name, synonymous with immense estates and a hefty slice of the political pie, has been etching its grand signature across the UK's high society pages since the good old Tudor times. Now, young William, well, youngish for an earl, is prepped and polished to step into shoes that could fill entire history books, because his dad, Peregrine, the 12th Duke of Devonshire, isn't just a garden variety duke. No, he's perched rather comfortably atop a mountain of cash, reportedly totalling a cool £910 million as of 2024, which, we must assume, will go right to our Billy Burlington upon his father's passing. Now, William Cavendish could have swaggered into the title of Marquess of Hartington, the common title for next in line to become the Duke of Devonshire, yet he chose to stick with Burlington. This, naturally, could be a move that could be chalked up to his reverence for the title's deep historical roots, or perhaps it's just better branding. Who can say? But the title Earl of Burlington itself is no newcomer to the peerage scene, having been rolled out not once but twice, first in 1664 and again in 1831, and it's traditionally the Duke's grandson's title, which puts William right on the mark. Now, as the sands of time trickle down, William is on deck to inherit not just a name, but a veritable empire of stately piles and rolling estates. Take Chatsworth House, for example. Not merely a house, but a monument to all things opulent and stately, Chatsworth is where art, history and architecture flirt outrageously on a 30,000-acre stage. Yes, we're talking Raphael, grand gardens, and an air of genteel majesty that makes your average billionaire's penthouse look like a shabby bedsit. But wait, there's more. Over an island, Lismore Castle looms, its Gothic spires slicing the sky. This castle isn't just a feast for the eyes, it's a cultural hotspot, boasting a contemporary art gallery curated by none other than William and his wife, Laura, Countess of Burlington. And while the public can meander through its enchanting gardens, the castle keeps its doors firmly closed, reserved for the likes of those who can fork out something close to a princely €50,000 for a week's sojourn. Then there are the likes of Holker Hall and Compton Place, rounding out a portfolio that would make the most stoic of stockbrokers weep with envy. With every stone of these estates, William Cavendish is set not merely to inherit a fortune, but to steward a legacy of cultural heritage that makes one ponder the real power of pedigree in preserving the past for posterity. Indeed, as the future Duke of Devonshire, William isn't just waiting to collect keys to numerous castles. He's gearing up to become the custodian of a lineage that's as quintessentially British as afternoon tea. As we observe from our less lordly perches, we must wonder what childhood must have been like for Billy, coming up with so much power and prestige to inherit. To get our answer, we'll flip over to the next chapter and find out. Born into a family where history and prestige are part of the daily bread, the Earl of Burlington's lineage is as rich in stories as it is in titles, being the son of Peregrine Cavendish, the 12th Duke of Devonshire. And the Cavendish family tree is a veritable directory of influence and affluence. Tracing back to Sir John Cavendish of the 14th century, who adopted his last name from the Suffolk village of Cavendish, the lineage gained prominence through strategic marriages and noble titles. Then, Sir William Cavendish's, the original William Cavendish, marriage to the famed Bess of Hardwicke set the stage for a succession of notable descendants, including the first Duke of Devonshire, William Cavendish, a staunch supporter of the Glorious Revolution in 1688. Over the centuries, the Cavendishes have accrued titles like Marquess of Hartington and Earl of Burlington, Bill's title, with the latter revived in 1831 for Lord George Cavendish. Now, Bill's father, Peregrine Cavendish, inherited the dukedom in 2004, bringing his own flavour to the title. Known among friends as Stoker, Peregrine not only manages vast estates in Derbyshire and North Yorkshire, but also oversees the iconic Chatsworth House. And Peregrine's mother, Deborah Mitford, adds a sprinkle of cultural renown to the family, being one of the Mitford sisters, legendary figures in British social circles. But on the maternal side, William Cavendish's heritage is equally illustrious. Amanda Heywood Lonsdale, born in the same year as her husband, brings the Heywood Lonsdale family into the mix, and her marriage to Peregrine in 1967 melded two significant aristocratic bloodlines. Commander Edward Gavin Heywood Lonsdale, Amanda's father, etched his name into naval history with notable aplomb. During World War II, he earned the Distinguished Service Cross for his adept leadership aboard the HMS Keppel, a destroyer that faced the tumults of war with steadfast resolve. And his wife, Joan Grace Heywood Lonsdale, maiden name Shakespeare, offers a touch of literary romance to their tale, suggesting a lineage linked to the esteemed playwright, though this is probably more a flight of fancy than a documented truth. Thus, together, Amanda and Peregrine Cavendish, as William Cavendish's parents, united their respective lineages, but also set the stage for the continuation of their families' legacies through their three children. But, as ever, young Bill Burlington would have to carve out his own life, which is where we'll begin on next chapter. William Burlington, who first saw the light of day on the 6th of June 1969, was ushered into the academic arena at Eton College, a storied institution where the whispers of history blend with the voices of future leaders. And Eton, with its sprawling lawns and ancient facades, has long been the crucible for the British elite, moulding the minds of countless dukes, prime ministers and royals. Here, Burlington was steeped in a tradition of excellence and expectation that has shaped the leaders of the UK for centuries. Then, his intellectual journey continued at the University of Cambridge, another venerable beacon of learning and a second home to many who would one day wear the mantle of leadership in Britain. Cambridge, known for its rigorous academic standards and its pivotal role in shaping the discourse of science, politics and the arts, offered Burlington a platform to delve deeper into both the traditional and the avant-garde, preparing him for a life of varied pursuits. Upon concluding his formal education, Burlington veered from the expected path of aristocracy into the world of photography, studying under Jorge Lewinsky, himself a celebrated portraitist of artists. This career choice may hint at Burlington's modern view of his aristocratic duties. Rather than confine himself to estate management or the ceremonial roles often associated with dukes-in-waiting, he chose to capture the world through a lens, perhaps signaling a shift towards a more personal and expressive type of leadership. Then, in 2007, Burlington's life took a romantic turn when he married Laura Roundell, a woman with her own impressive connections to the art and fashion worlds. Formerly a model and stylist, Laura brought to the marriage her expertise from the world of high fashion, alongside ties to Christie's, where her father served as deputy chairman. This marriage was not just a union of hearts, but also a fusion of art, fashion and aristocracy, rooted in significant historical and cultural bedrock. And Laura's childhood home, Dorfold Hall is itself a treasure trove of history. This Grade 1 listed Jacobean mansion, described by Nicholas Pevsner as one of Cheshire's finest, encapsulates the grandeur and continuity of British architectural and aristocratic traditions. And the estate, first built for Ralph Wilbraham, has seen centuries pass by its walls, each adding layers to its storied existence. Together, William and Laura are parents to 3 children: Lady Maud, James, Lord Cavendish and Lady Eleanor. And their home life at Bolton Abbey, with its refurbished interiors by Lady Burlington, and their artistic endeavours at Lismore Castle in Ireland, where they have established an arts gallery, reflect a blend of heritage and contemporary sensibility. And yet, when Bill Burlington needs to flex his social status, he heads down to one of London's most storied gentlemen's clubs, which of course he owns. William Cavendish, Earl of Burlington, is now at the helm of Pratt's Club, a storied gentlemen's club tucked away in a townhouse just off St James's Street in London. Inherited from his father, the 12th Duke of Devonshire, the club has been a part of the Cavendish family legacy for generations, marking a continuous thread of aristocratic stewardship. Founded in 1857 by William Nathaniel Pratt, a steward to the Duke of Beaufort, Pratt's Club began its life in the very townhouse Pratt occupied from 1841. It subsequently became a hub for the Duke and his circle, who would gather there for evenings filled with lively company and conversation. After Pratt's passing in 1860, his widow Sophia and son Edwin maintained the club's operations, preserving its intimate atmosphere. The property later fell into the hands of the 11th Duke of Devonshire, Bill's grandfather, ensuring its continued association with the Cavendish lineage. Yet, despite its blue-blooded ownership, Pratt's Club stands out in London's club scene for its distinctly cosy, unpretentious vibe, a contrast to the more opulent establishments nearby. It is relatively intimate, with a membership cap of around 600 and a dining room in the basement that accommodates just 14 guests at a time. And the interiors are a throwback to another era, complete with an old-fashioned kitchen sporting an open fire, displays of stuffed birds and fish, and antique furnishings that all contribute to its old-world allure. Now, a curious tradition at Pratt's Club is the naming of all male staff members as George, a custom extending back decades. This idiosyncrasy was humorously adapted when the club employed its first female steward in the 1980s, who was promptly nicknamed Georgina. The persistence of these traditions, alongside the absence of modern conveniences such as air conditioning and elevators in its heritage-listed building, cements Pratt's reputation as a charmingly eccentric enclave in modern London. Then, in a striking departure from tradition, Pratt's Club recently opened its doors to female members, a groundbreaking change implemented in May 2023 by the Earl himself, without prior consultation with the club's membership. This decision has stirred a pot of mixed feelings. Some long-time members have lamented the erosion of a historic tradition, while younger members and modern observers see it as a forward-looking adjustment critical for the club's relevance and longevity. Thus, Pratt's Club, with its rich history, quaint customs, and recent nod to progress, continues to be a point of interest and discussion among London's elite clubland. As the Earl of Burlington steers this institution through these changing times, the essence of Pratt's Club remains a balancing act between maintaining its cherished quirks and evolving with the societal tides. However, bringing clubland into the 21st century isn't Bill Burlington's only day-to-day hobby. Since when you stand to inherit a dukedom, you don't really have a job like the rest of us. In the next chapter, we'll detail what he's up to in 2024 and see what we can find. Lord William Cavendish is a figure of notable versatility and commitment, having embraced a series of significant roles that showcase his broad interests, from heritage preservation to philanthropy and education. For example, between 2019 and 2020, Lord Burlington served as the High Sheriff of Derbyshire, acting as the Queen's representative in the county. And during his tenure, he put another modern twist on this age-old office by organising a 208-mile charity bike ride across Derbyshire. This endeavour aimed to support Foundation Derbyshire, a charity dedicated to enriching local communities. Although initially postponed due to the COVID-19 lockdown, the ride ultimately went ahead, underscoring his dedication to the cause. Additionally, March 2018 saw Lord Burlington stepping into another significant role as he was installed as the fourth Chancellor of the University of Derby. Taking over from his father, who previously held the position, he marked the occasion with a ceremony at the university's Buxton campus, and his speech highlighted his enthusiasm for the university's role in fostering student potential across all backgrounds. Living up to his commitment, he has since become deeply involved with the institution, particularly as the chair of the Business School Council, where he contributes to setting strategic directions and enhancing industry partnerships. Aside from his educational and philanthropic pursuits, Lord Burlington still has a fervent passion for the arts. He has been instrumental in establishing Lismore Castle Arts, a contemporary arts gallery situated within Lismore Castle in Ireland, the historical home of the Dukes of Devonshire. The gallery has become a cultural hub, hosting exhibitions by acclaimed artists such as Matthew Barney, Barry Flanagan, and Richard Long, thereby enriching the cultural landscape and continuing a family legacy of supporting the arts. Through these varied roles, Lord Burlington not only honours the traditions and responsibilities inherited from his lineage, but also brings a personal touch to each endeavour. And now, we'd love to see you in the comments. Which notable heir in the British aristocracy would you like us to feature next on this channel? We always make videos on your suggestions and likes, so be sure to give us your thoughts and give a like to any idea you see below that you'd enjoy. With that said, thanks for joining us for another episode of Old Money Luxury, and cheers until next time.